Any questions?
Yes, we do have some questions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any doubts can be asked.
All right. So Effie put in the chat during the presentation, is the best way to incorporate the herbs foods in a chocolate beverage, which can be served hot, room temperature, or cold?
Yes, we can mix it up with the. I'll tell you, we can mix the turmeric. Okay, I will give you one this thing for if the person is wanting for a coffee or if a person is willing for a coffee, I have a recommendation. Okay, so you make a coffee decoction. Okay, espresso you make it. So you can mix the turmeric. Okay, and you can mix the manjista herb. Okay, and you can mix the ginger and the tipli. These four ingredients can be mixed, and you can put the cocoa nibs and the coffee into the product, because I made that product, so you can drink it out really well. So it can be used in the hot as well as in the cold. Manjishta, what you do, you just boil, in water. You put the manjishta for that root for a day, okay, and the next day you filter it out. You get all the red color, and then you mix this both all the ingredients, and yeshti madhu, you can mix it up and make it as a drink.
Okay. So the next question is the origin of the cacao a consideration when using Ayurveda? Some cacao has a more fruity profile or floral profile, whereas others have a more earthy note. So I think the question
Okay.
is, are you thinking about the flavor profile of the cacao when you're pairing it with the flavor profile and the medicinal properties of the herbs or oils, as you mentioned?
Uh, yes, we can do it out. Like when you have a earthy, when you have a chocolate with the fruity note, okay, you have a fruity note flavor. At that time, you can put an earthy note by adding the woody this thing like vetiver or any sandalwood or anything. You can mix it out and make it as a woody note, flory woody. So you can mix match it out. Like that's why I have mentioned the woody notes and every the sweet notes, everything I have mentioned, so that like you can mix match everything. Only thing like where I have mentioned like the grams, that alone you have to be careful. The grams
Right.
which I have mentioned, the dosage, that has to be very careful. Otherwise, like it will have the herbs are very very strong, so it gives a reaction very fast. So that's why that's why it's called medicine. So
Right. So
so
when you've given the dosage, that dosage is in reference to the medicinal property and not
yes,
recipe for flavor profiling. That is to make
yes,
sure that
yes,
you
yeah,
are
yeah. That's example licorice. If you consume more than 10 grams, your blood pressure will shoot out no matter what. So we have to be careful with the licorice mainly. I
yeah,
have
so
just
that
clearly mentioned like a mention like dosage like this, how many grams, how many grams. So rose doesn't have. When I say like alleviates all doshas, like all doshas is written, like I have never mentioned the pitta or kava or anything, then it's not a problem. So if it is, if I mean any the pitta or kava, if I have mentioned, then you have to consider like how many dosage I have. You have to see like how much dosage I have put on. So that dosage only has to be used. If you increase more than that, the herbs quality will be like one day it will be fine, the other day that when you put it with the cocoa will absorb the moisture. I mean that the quality of the the flavor of everything, the herbs, and it keeps the reaction starts at that time itself. So we have to be careful with that.
okay, and that
The
sort of
dosage I'm very particular, like kindly go with the dosage, and finally don't say like I put a higher dosage and it worked out something else, like I feel fainted or something. Don't this thing, but I because I've clearly mentioned like how many dosage has to be used. Yeah.
yes, I think it requires a lot of knowledge if you're going to use it in
Yeah,
a
this one,
medicinal
like
way.
what? Yes, like I have just mentioned, because that's why I have mentioned like how many grams. If you use that much gram, that's more than enough for a, because the taste will come automatically in the product, in the chocolate. So no issues.
Okay, so that rolls into the next question, which is how
Yeah.
difficult is it to mix herbs with chocolate to create usual taste for everyone? So I think what they're asking is how difficult is it to formulate a widely acceptable flavor profile?
Widely acceptable. It depends upon if you like sweet notes, few like spicy notes. Okay, in the chocolate. If you ask me, I like the spicy note. I don't like the sweet notes. So people vary from one taste to another. So if you create something different with that product itself, like what I have mentioned, create your own, the formulation. Okay, mix match. You can mix match that one. Example, the if I'm not wrong, like you can mix rose with sandalwood, or like rose with manjishta, or rose with the ushira, I mean the vetiver. So we can mix match that one and work on it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think these flavors are going to be for your unique audience.
Yes, yes. At least
Okay.
they will taste it out. Yeah.
Yeah. So Mark would like to know, do you have any recommendations for mixing the Vedas together for specific flavors?
What? I couldn't understand.
Yeah, I'm not sure I understand either. Maybe we'll ask Mark, invite Mark to, let me see if he's still here. Yeah. I'm gonna allow you to open your mic, Mark, and you can ask your question. All right. While we're waiting for Mark, if he wants to come and ask the question. Let's see. Neha, please share your experience using these in chocolates.
Yeah, I have introduced the 𝗪𝗵𝗂𝗍𝗵 chocolate, okay, the 𝗠𝗵𝗵𝗁 ones, and turmeric ones I have introduced. So these two are one of the ingredient. I'm going to plan to introduce still more new products with the. I'm working on it, like in other sets of Ayurvedic products to be launched. Rose I have implemented. Hibiscus I haven't implemented yet.
Okay, that rolls right into Sita's question, which is rose and hibiscus. Do they add to the flavor of the chocolate? Are they
Um,
complementary?
Yes, yes. Rose and hibiscus both are of a cold potency, so like I think like it will match it out. It will match. Rose, if you put rose more, the hibiscus comes down. So I would request you to put more of a hibiscus and a less of a rose, so that it matches out.
Aha, that's a balance tip.
Yeah, because rose is a dominant flavor. Okay, hibiscus is like a umami, almost like a umami flavor. Not so much a flavor can be expected in the this thing, but you can increase the hibiscus and reduce the rose.
Okay, I'm going to paraphrase Zoom user's question. What's the source of your recipes? They're saying the dosage comes from Reliable Institute in India. So I'm
Okay,
sort of
okay.
paraphrasing
So,
the question, which is
okay.
what's the source of your knowledge?
The source of the the book is name is called 𝗪𝗏. It's from the resource direct Ayurvedic, Ayurvedic herbs in India. Ayurvedic will be from it's from the family tradition. Okay, from family by family, they are just learning and they are doing it out. It has been passed on for generations. Okay, so they will exactly mention. There is a book which has been established in the 7th century. Okay, so the book name is, it's in Sanskrit. It is called 𝗪𝗏, and from that book only I have taken all the the herbs. There are 1,000 plus herbs, 10,000 plus herbs. Okay, so we cannot take all the 10,000 herbs and put it in the chocolate. Okay, so we have to be very particular in which things to be used and which should not be used in chocolate. So I don't mind grinding a herb which is of so much of bitterness and putting into the chocolate. Okay, the customer will purchase or not, we don't know. I don't mind. It will be worse than the 100% dark chocolate. Do you understand?
Yes.
So the thing, when you mix a herb, okay, there are herbs which has more of a pungent and bitterness is to the peak. Already chocolate is a bitter. If you mix two bitterness, what will happen? So I have just taken like what is being used, which doesn't affect the person's health also. These herbs are not going to affect the person's health. If I have prescribed dosage, I have mentioned very clearly, like this much is a dosage, then no issues. If it goes beyond that, then you have to be careful. Then I'm not responsible for that. Like if it goes beyond the dosage. Yeah, that's how.
Okay, so Thalia would like
So
to
it's
know about sourcing. She says, how are these elements acquired in India, and how does this compare to acquiring these in the United States?
You can go to any Indian store in US and or any medical this thing medical shops. I don't know any herbal shops are there in US. I don't know because I'm not from US.
Right.
So any medical herbal medicines or alternative medicines or homeopathy medicines, any Ayurvedic shop will have these ingredients.
Okay, great. Thank you. Mrs. Balu, I saw you opened your camera. Come on in.
Yes, I have a question for you, Swathi. Yeah, thank you
Yes.
for that detailed presentation of the ingredients, the names, and the three gunas and all those things. But the one question is, how do you mix them in chocolate? What is they have to be careful? Like like some herbs are like fat soluble. Like for example, turmeric you have to take with the it mixes well in the oil, right? You cannot take it in the water.
Yes.
It has more potency when you add it in the thing. Same way, the cocoa beans have so much cocoa butter. So, do you know any of these herbs are like fat soluble so that it gives the more potency when you use with the chocolate? And also, what are the problems you encounter when you use this Ayurvedic ingredient in the chocolate?
Okay, okay. So example is the 𝗪𝗔𝘂𝗿. Okay, licorice. Licorice, everybody are using it out in US and everything, but there is a percentage to be used. Okay, that cannot be. It's in what we. The 𝗪𝗔𝘂𝗿 is in the raw form. You need to powder it out. Okay, and then only we can put it out. That's one of the biggest difficulties which we will be facing. Everybody are facing that difficulty. Okay, but it will get powdered. So we can just infuse or inclusion or infusion we can do any of the things we can do and implement in the butter. I don't think there will be issue with the butter, mixing licorice because I'm doing that one part actually. So one of the chocolate I'm going to launch very soon regarding the Ayurvedic one. So I'm almost mixing all the herbs over there. So I think like we can mix it up with the. I have worked with the cocoa butter and this thing. It's not a problem for me. Only 𝗪𝗔𝘂𝗿, the consistency, the elasticity of the chocolate changes.
Mm. So how do
Yeah.
you overcome that? Like, like some tip that you can give it to people because I understand a lot of people who came for this webinar, they will be interested in experimenting it. So since you have
Yeah.
experimented it, did you have any tips for them to make it easy, their life easier?
Yeah, that's why licorice, I am mixing with the normal brown sugar.
Okay.
Okay, in sugar, you are including the licorice mixed out with that so that there won't be any issues when you grind. It just get mixed up. So like if you're going for an 80% dark chocolate, okay, so like 20 grams is the sugar, okay. So in 20 grams of, I mean 200 grams of sugar, like 10 grams of 10 grams you put the licorice and other you substitute with the normal sugar, then too the taste of the licorice will come because it's a herb.
Okay.
So that's how
So,
the viscosity will manage it out. Yeah.
and then when you said infusion, so how do you infuse the herbs into the chocolate?
Example, we say I can take is the vetiver, okay. The first one ushira. So that one you can soak that one, the fresh vetiver.
Mm.
You soak it up in the cocoa butter for a night.
Mm.
Let the flavor infuse, and then you remove the the herbs, and then you put the butter into it, like, and do the process like the normal chocolate. That's it.
Okay.
So in the woody part, like you can play with it, that woody note will come, and even the nanari, that also we can infuse in the in the cocoa butter and do it out. You don't need to powder it out, and you don't need to put an effort, like so much of efforts to the this thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So how do I find out where to infuse, where to inclusion? So like, is there any guidelines or is there any properties or do they have to experiment on
And
their own,
no,
like a trial and
I
error?
will just I can just say one thing. Okay, so when you mix example vetiver, you cannot powder it out. Okay, and put it out into the melanga,
Mhm.
the woody products. Okay, that cannot be powder. If you put also, it will be sticking. It will stick into the chocolate. So the woody notes, like the first one, the wooden this thing, I would suggest you to do with the infusion method.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, so that's how it is being. Any other doubts?
Yeah, there are some more questions.
Yeah.
Okay, Sita would like to know what proportion would you recommend when combining the papali, ginger, and black pepper?
uh pipili, ginger, and
Black pepper.
okay, so pipili 10 grams, pepper 5 grams, and ginger 10 grams.
Okay, that's a very specific answer.
Yeah, because we use it. I use it actually.
Well,
You
So
can
perfect.
put
can you,
turmeric into it actually. Yeah.
okay, and can you repeat it? I'll put it in the notes so people can, copy it. Can you repeat that, recipe you told
Yeah.
me? Yeah.
The tipili,
Pipali,
10
okay,
grams,
10 grams.
pepper 5 grams,
Which one?
black pepper,
Pepper, fine. Okay. 5 grams.
ginger 10 grams,
I'm
ginger
sorry.
10 grams,
Ginger 10
ginger
grams.
10 grams.
Ginger powder, right?
You can use it as a powder or the fresh ones also, no issues.
But fresh one will have some water, right? So how does that help? Like, how does it affect the chocolate making?
Little infusion is enough, not so much. Like
Oh, so the
50
infuse
grams
the
of,
ginger. Okay.
yeah, infusing
Okay.
the ginger.
And then you said you also add turmeric to it. How much turmeric do you add?
Turmeric 2 grams, turmeric powder
2 grams.
2 grams.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
So it would be important to note that you wouldn't want to add fresh root to the chocolate because, as Mrs. Balu mentioned, that when you're grinding, that it has moisture,
Yeah, the
and you
root,
don't want to put
that's why
moisture
I said like infusion method will be better.
for certain items, and then other items would be the powder.
Yes, when you feel like when you just you first thing you have to do in Ayurveda is like you need to if any herbs or any this thing like you purchase, first thing is like you need to smell, touch it and smell it. That's the first lesson for any in any Ayurvedic class. The first lesson is like you have to touch that product, smell that product, and taste the product. So you will know when you touch, you will understand like can it be put in the chocolate in a powder form or in the infusion or inclusion method.
And when you think about the process in the melanger, like milk powder, that's recommended to add it at the end. Would you say you don't want to grind the powders, right? You wouldn't want to add it when you add the sugar, which is going to take a longer time to grind. Would you add it at the end of the process, just in sort of the conching phase?
Okay, so if you are going for an inclusion method, like you are infused the woody note. Example, like we are putting the vetiver, okay, the first ushira, the first one. If we are mixing it out with, if we are infusing that cocoa butter, okay, then it's fine. The last minute, the flavor has to be when you're putting in the end. After the milk powder, you're just pouring that one to get that flavor. You understand?
Mr. Balu is raised his hand, so you want to let him talk?
Hi, sir.
Dr. Balu, you are free to open your mic.
Hello? Okay, maybe he can ask another question in the meantime. Maybe he's trying to unmute himself.
Let me just roll back up.
Yep, unmuted it.
Here he comes.
Okay.
Unmuted it.
Hello, sir.
How are you, Swaathy?
Yeah, fine, sir. Fine, sir. Thank you for giving me the opportunity.
No, it's all. Okay, let me see. I'm going to turn the stay unmute. Okay, let me see. How do I turn the video on? I don't know. Anyway, so the question is, when they typically the conventional way, when they make the formulation, they make it a different kind of formula. Some are decoction, some are oil, and some are powder, and some are mixed with something. So different kind of formulation is done for different products. How do we choose which ones are good for incorporating into chocolate? I mean, if the
I couldn't
Ayurveda things, I
understand,
mean,
sir.
different products they had to formulate
I
differently.
couldn't understand what he's saying. Sir, can you just repeat it again?
Okay, let me see if I can take my headphones off. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I think we lost him, but he'll be back. I think he disconnected himself. So while we wait for him to come back, Mark has a great question.
Okay.
The question is chocolate or cacao best for Vata, Pitta, or Kapha people?
Okay. Good question. Actually, anything which is being heated, I mean roasted, fermented, comes in pitta. Okay, the minute you add sugar into your chocolate, the kapha comes into the picture. Okay, and when you start grinding the process, the air comes into the vata comes into the product. So it's almost like vata, pitta, kapha. When you see without adding sugar and without adding without grinding or any this thing, you're eating a raw cocoa, it's fully pitta. So that's why you're not able to consume beyond a certain limit. Have I answered the question?
Here comes Dr. Balu again. All right, Dr. Balu.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I mean, I was trying to take my headphone off, and then during the process, it got disconnected. Was that the answer for me or for something else?
No.
Okay.
I don't know what was your question. So
My question. Good point. My question was, in the conventional way of making the Ayurveda drugs, depending on the ingredients, they use different kind of formulations. I mean, some of them are decoction, some of them are oil,
Yes.
some of them are different things. When will you decide chocolate is the best medium for this formulation? How, and then chocolate is not the best medium for all the Ayurveda medicines. When will you decide, hey, for this formulation, I think chocolate is a good medium? How do you decide?
Okay. So I mean, if you're taking any ingredients, Ayurvedic ingredients, any ingredients you take, you just have to see the potency, okay, and
Mm,
the doshas. Is
mm,
all the doshas is we know it's in the same equal. Like if it is vada, pitta, kava, everything is in equal position, then you
mm.
can take that product. So
Okay.
in my presentation, like half of the products are like equal.
Okay.
This won't create an issue. So the issue which is going to create, example, when we are taking the tipli, you have the issue. Okay, at
Mm,
that time we are going to add the butter.
mm, mm,
Okay, so any butter or honey, it will compensate that.
mm.
So that's why using any butter, which means cocoa butter, we are using it out.
Okay.
So that's how we formulate it out. You any herb you're going to take, we just have to see like what is the potency and
Mm,
what is the doshas, like
mm,
what is high, what is low.
mm. Okay.
According to that, like if there is all doshas are clear, like I don't have any doshas, like it's like everything is normal. It can be used. So everybody can use it.
Mm.
So that's how we say it, like we can put this one into the chocolate and this cannot be put into the chocolate,
I
and
see.
the bitter and other things also comes into the factor.
So there is a process you can decide when it should be used. Oh, good. Thank you.
Yes, when the dosha is like any product, if you take like when there is no dosha,
Mm,
like alleviates like alleviates all doshas. I have mentioned in few of the presentations,
mm.
like it alleviates all doshas. In that,
Okay.
like that product can be used in how much ever you want.
Okay.
So if I mention like kapha is high, alleviates kava and pitta and not vata. So how to increase the vata? Vata is nothing but the air. So you have to grind still more to increase the vata.
Okay. Got
The
it.
air is being incorporated.
Thank you.
Yeah, so that's how it is.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hope I answered the question.
Yeah. Yeah. You did. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a question about fennel. Have you used
Okay.
fennel, and is fennel a good substitute for licorice?
Fennel and licorice. Yes, we can use it. Look, fennel is cleansing of your mouth. Okay, we use in India to cleanse our mouth. Okay, it's of a cold potence. Okay, and a licorice, and you can just put a little bit of a pepper, black pepper into it.
So it sounds like for flavor profile, they can be used sort of interchangeably.
Just
But
because the person has mentioned licorice,
but for
I'm forced to put the other ingredient into it.
right, but for
It is
Ayurvedic
like
purposes,
it is just going to be a phenol alone. I will say like you put whatever herbs you want, you put, but not you can mix the phenol with rose or hibiscus, mix it up, no issues. But when you mix any sugar, okay, but not the licorice. The minute you put the licorice, uh, the specific 10 grams is fine, but not more than that. You can mix match it out, but yeah.
I think the question is can we substitute,
right?
like a replace, not using it together.
Okay.
She
No,
wants
no,
to
no, no,
know
no.
if you can substitute licorice instead of the fennel or
Yeah,
vice
we can,
versa.
but instead of licorice, can we substitute phenol? That's what you're asking, because the phenol has a sweeter note. Yes, but when you grind into the chocolate, I don't think the phenol will be dominating. The sweetness of the phenol won't be dominating. The licorice you're dropping out, and what sugar are you going to substitute with that? Or like there is going to be no sugar.
Great points.
And then, yeah, I think she already answered this question, right? Have the melager or Simply mix it is an answer. Okay. The next question is, if he is asking, like, do I have any resources where we can source these herbs? See, things like the long pepper, pipali, and some of the things we use in our day-to-day cooking. So we get it from Indian stores. And if you have any specific, let me know. I can do some research and find out who is selling them or where you can get it in US. But I know that black pepper and those things, you can find it. And also even that root that she was talking about, I know some
I think
Indian
like
stores are
any
selling
Indian
them.
herbal shops will be, any Indian shops will have those things actually.
Right.
Because it's a
That first
I
with
have
the
not
wood.
taken a complicated herbs. I have taken a herb like where you can purchase it from any part of the world.
Yeah. Like for usuru,
That
for
also has
example, we use it in the water. We just leave it in the mud pot, the water, and then the next day we drink it. It cools your body and it gives a nice smell. But now we can also use it in the chocolate. So there are some things available here in the US because these are all we have used it for, like, I don't know, centuries or thousands of
yeah,
years.
yeah, it's more than centuries.
Right.
So for the cleansing of the the pond or anything, we use the ushira.
Yeah.
I mean the vetiver. Any questions?
And Sita is asking, is there a general rule? When do I infuse and when do I powder?
I think I have answered the question.
Yeah. Maybe you can just repeat it. Maybe she missed it.
When you have an woody stuffs like the vetiver or any other thing like wooden woody ones, woody notes, woody earthy, wooden woody, the root types, uh, then you can go with the infusion method, and the other things like the longam pepper, then the rose and other things, we can go with the inclusion methods. Hope I have answered.
Yeah. And then Talia did a quick Google search and she says at least 10 Ayurveda medicine shops in San Francisco, California. So, people can search where are the Ayurveda shops in their own city to get most of these herbs that you mentioned in US. But people joining from the other countries, they might also can do the Google search and see if it's available in their local markets.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Any other
Anybody else have
questions?
any question? I'm just trying to see. I think we answered all the questions. Oh, okay. So do you personally prefer to a consumer specific combination of these in the chocolate?
In the sense?
So somebody, let's say, I don't know, she's asking, like, okay, consumer specific, like it's like let's say I come to you and I say I have a lot of kapha. What kind of chocolate? Can you make a specific chocolate for people who have kapha, or people who have vata, or people who have pitta? Like
Yes,
the
yes, yes. We can
specific
formulate that one
chocolates can you prep?
accordingly. Yeah, yeah, we can
Okay,
formulate according to that.
okay. Mm,
Yeah, I mean, I have to correct the question actually. Look, the Vata, Pitta, Kapha, okay? We cannot say like one time the person will have more Vata. Sometimes after 1 month, there will be Kapha, or sometimes after 2 months, it will be Pitta. We don't know in what state it is, okay? So we have to formulate a recipe where all are same.
okay,
So Vata, Pitta, Kapha, like everything is same. We cannot do
okay,
with Vata like, because it is not necessary like on first day, on day one, Vata is there for a person, and after you make the chocolate, if the person is having Pitta, then then what you made is waste. So we cannot formulate according to it, because we can formulate herbs according to the person, but not the chocolate, because that's different. We can
okay,
just include these herbs which are safer ones.
okay. So now Mark is asking, are there any classic herb combinations that are typically used in Indian chocolate as flavors or for healing?
Yeah, I have introduced Tipili chocolate and the turmeric one. I've infused the black turmeric and the yellow turmeric. So that one I have introduced, and so there is another one another one, this thing called 𝗏𝗰 chocolate. That has also been used, is one of the ingredient in the Ayurveda. So that one also have been included into the product of mine, actually.
Okay. I think that's all the questions. Teresa, do you have anything else to add?
No, I think everyone, any question I had, everyone in the chat asked the question, or some combination of thoughts I had. So I'm very happy to see all the questions. This is just a lot of questions, so that's good.
Okay, Teresa, you have any other questions you can ask me out?
Sure. Absolutely.
Yeah. So if there are no questions, I think we can end it because almost it's like 10 o'clock for Swathi at night. So thank you,
No,
Swathi.
thank you so much for giving me the opportunity, Andal ma'am and Balu sir, for Cocotown, for helping me out and giving me the opportunity. It's the first time I'm introducing an Ayurvedic chocolate. So it was nice. And thank you each and everyone who has attended the workshop, who were curious to attend the workshop and ask me the questions. Thank you so much for asking the questions.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Great
Swathi.
job.
See,
Yeah.
the thanks goes to the whole Cocotown team, not just us.
Yeah.
We are just in the front of it, but like Teresa and a lot of people, Jay, Raghavendra, the whole team works on it, and then they do the behind the scenes stuff. So the credit goes to everyone for making it happen.
Yeah.
Like after 4 years, we are doing it. And
Yeah.
thanks for all the participants, because I know it's a working day and different time zones. Still, they made time to join this. Thank you so
Yeah.
much, because if the participants are not there, these webinars don't have any meaning for the
Yeah.
presenters or for us. So thank you all. And thank you
Okay.
again. Teresa, you want to talk about the next webinar?
Yeah.
Well, the next webinar is in Spanish.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
yes, the next webinar will be presented in Spanish. It's our friend 𝗪𝗿𝗁. He will do a repeat of his previous webinar on partial fermentation and zero fermentation and its effect on flavor profile and medicinal properties of chocolate. So if you're a
Okay.
Spanish speaker, or you know someone who speaks Spanish and wants to take advantage of, that's a unique opportunity. We have him speaking in Spanish, then we have Tanya moderating, and
Okay.
yeah, that'll be happening. I'm sorry I don't have the date, but check your newsletter, check the
Yeah.
website, or send us an email and we can let you know.
Yeah. And thank
Even
you,
if it,
everyone. Yeah, ma'am.
yeah,
Thank you, everyone, for giving me the opportunity. And you can follow me in my Instagram, my Idaten Craft Chocolates. Yeah, that's my, the Instagram page.
Great job.
Yeah, tell me, ma'am. Yeah, sorry.
I just want to thank everyone. And also, if you cannot attend in person, don't hesitate. Go ahead and register. When we have that, the recording available, we will send you the link so you can watch at your. How are you doing today? Whenever you have some time.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.
All.
Yeah.
Have a
Thank
good
you. Thank
day
you all.
and a
Thank
good
you. Thank
weekend.
you. Yeah, thank you.
And one more quick thing, please, before you leave, make sure when you get the email, please send a review. Please send a review, because Swathi has spent so much time. People who are presenting these webinars, they are willing to share their knowledge free and the time. But if you take just 2 minutes to send a review, that will make their day, because they show the appreciation. Whether it's good or bad, please share with us. It will also help us to bring the right webinars for you, because sometimes we think this may be a good topic, but it may not be good. So please send a
Where do I
review.
send the
We will
review?
send a. Okay, Teresa, they want to know where do they send a review.
What do you want? You were asking for a review for Swathi? So if it's for
No.
Swathi, she can tell where she'd like to have the review. For us, you can leave a Google review. You can comment on Facebook posts.
On our website under this webinar also.
Our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also maybe then with that looks like people don't know, like when we send the email next time with the recording, we will send a link for the review. Link. Thank you, Mark. Okay.
Yeah,
Loka
thank you.
samasta
Yeah,
sukhino bhavantu.
yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you all. Yeah, thank you.